Hi, my name is Emily Mitchell and I'm from Southwest Arkansas. I have been a knitter for about the last 10 years. I've started watching knitting podcasts probably about 2 years ago and love them. Figured I would take a shot at trying to start my own knitting podcast here. So I've been a knitter for 10 years, but I've just recently gotten into the hand-dyed yarns about a year and a half ago and have no intentions of stopping that and going back to the acrylics or big box store yarns, except for the occasional like baby blanket project. I will be 28 this coming week. I am a wife and a mom of a toddler. She just turned 2 recently. You can find me on Instagram as delight_knits, and you can find me on Ravelry as Delight Knits, one word. So since this is my first podcast episode, I have decided to just pull my finished objects from the last 2 weeks, because if we go back any farther, there's quite a bit. So my first finished object from the last 2 weeks is my husband's Musselburgh hat, or Musselburgh, however you say it. Everybody says it differently. So this one is half green and half orange. My husband is a big time hunter, and so this is perfect for him to walk to the hunting stand because it is the hunter approved orange, fluorescent orange. And then when he gets there, depending on whether it's bow season or rifle season, he can have the green or the orange, whichever is regulation. I knit this on a 3mm or a US 2.5. I knit it as part of the Show Us Your Muscles Cal by We Share Needles and the Crafted Pearl podcasts. I actually dyed this yarn myself. For Christmas last year, I got a lot of the yarn dyeing supplies, and I figured it would be a fun hobby. I'm definitely not selling it anytime soon. And so I dyed this yarn myself. The bare yarn is from Wool to Dye For, and it is an 80/20 Merino nylon blend, and it's definitely turned out pretty well. I think he'll enjoy it this hunting season if it's cool enough, because he's very hot-natured. I knit that in an adult extra large, but I did shorten the total length because he was not wanting to have to fold up the brim, because that would make it 2 colors when he would do that either way. So that is that one. I also finished in the last 2 weeks a Musselburgh for myself. So that's 2 entries into the We Share Needles and the Crafted Pearl Cal for the Show Us Your Muscles Cal. Same needle size knit on. This one is an adult medium, knit exactly to pattern, so it will have the folded up brim. I'm not that much of a hat person, but so there's this. When I went to try and take pictures of it this week outside, my toddler actually stole it from me and would not take it off for me to take pictures of myself, so my FO pictures are with her, which is just fine. She'll probably end up wearing it more than me. This yarn is an 80-10-10 Merino nylon or Merino Cashmere nylon blend from Dream in Color. It was a one-of-a-kind color that was sold at my local yarn store, Knit Unto Others, in Arkadelphia, Arkansas. And I bought it during the Arkansas Yarn Crawl. One thing that I love about this color is every now and then you can see these little purple specks. They're very far and few between, but I love them. So there might be more on this side. There was this one spot where you could kind of see where it was pooling. There's one, I think it's over here, right in here, where it pooled up quite a bit, and that weird thing, but you can fold over that and it'll be just fine. So that is my finished Musselburgh, or my Toddler's, whoever gets to wear it first. I may have to knit one for her. And then my last finished object from the last 2 weeks is, I also purchased this yarn during the Arkansas yarn crawl. This is a sock blank, or a vanilla sock knit out of a sock blank from Arkansas Yarn Co. I have yet to block it. I don't have sock blockers. I just wash them and lay them out to dry. Hopefully, maybe I'll ask for some for Christmas. But so that was this one. I think it was a one of a kind as well. I actually have, so here's both of them. They were knit on a 2mm needle at US size 0 with a 64 stitch 2x2 cuff, and then about 50 rounds for the leg, slip stitch, heel flap, and gusset. And then I think about 70-ish, I go between 70 to 60 rows depending on the yarn for the foot, and then just a rounded toe that's kind of everybody's go-to, I would guess. I actually have quite a bit of this sock blank left over, so this is, you can kind of see that this is what it looked like. And so I'll save this and use it for scraps or scrappy socks. I haven't quite decided. I have quite a bit of scraps that I do not know what to do with yet, and I'll figure it out eventually. So now let's move on to my current works in progress. I only have 2. I'm not the type of knitter that has 5-6 projects going on usually. I usually try to keep a vanilla project going on, like a sock or those Musselburghs, because they're easy to work on in the car or when my toddler's running around, and they're easy to set down. I don't have to finish a row, so to speak, because they're always in a round. Hummingbird out the window. And then I like to have a bigger project like a sweater or a shawl that's actually a little more interesting and intricate. So one of my projects is a sock, vanilla sock, and this one's actually, I literally just have to Kitchener the toe. This yarn is Desert Vista Dyeworks in her Viso base. It is, I believe it's a 75-25 with 462 yards. And this is in the Tweedle Zombodys colorway. I actually purchased this. It's my only Desert Vista Dyeworks yarn that I've got. I purchased it off of the Suburban Stitcher D-Stash page because it was cheaper. I'm a bit of a bargain hunter. And I actually didn't have to wait for a pre-order. I hope to one day actually order from Desert Vista Dyeworks itself, though. I do love the yarn, and the self-striping yarn is perfect for socks. So, kind of the same construction as my other one. I've got the 2x2 cuff. I did 64 stitches. This cuff, it's roughly 20. I just marked, like everybody sees the crazy sock lady doing, I mark every 10 rounds. I just marked my last cuff round. I finished up with the yellow and then moved into just stripes. So it's roughly 20. It could be a little more, a little less. And I do use a long tail cast on. And then I've got kind of the same thing, roughly 50, I think it's like 55 rows on this one. I started my heel here, and actually this is the first self-striping sock that I've done the heel flap and gusset because I wanted to see how it would turn out. It's not too bad though. This progress keeper. So I did all of this on Friday. This progress keeper is from Arkansas Yarn Co. I got it at the Arkansas Yarn Crawl. I think it was just part of what they did free, if it'll focus. But it's just a resin cut out of Arkansas. So that was where I started my heel. And then I like to mark where I finished my heel decreases just so I can make sure my last one was, or my second sock matches. So that's where that red is. And then all the way down to the toe. And then I literally just have to Kitchener. I love using these stitch markers. Wrong side. They're from Sassafras Knits, I believe is how you would say it. I found her on Instagram, and I've got a few others, and then one of her progress keepers. I love them. So, and then I am using ChowGoo. I do knit a majority of the sock on 9-inch circulars, and then I switched to magic loop for the toe. The 9-inch circulars are just a lot less fiddly for me. You can just go round and round and round, and that's it. And then I've got quite a bit left of the cake. So I will hopefully start my second sock probably tomorrow so I can have it for lunch knitting. Let's see, with my sock, I'm actually using this bag here, which is also from Sassafras Knits. And she does a lot of the like patchwork stuff, and I wish I could buy more, but I don't really need that many project bags. I don't have the room for it in my house. So in my second whip, I'm keeping in the bag that I got from Arkansas Yarn Co. or the Arkansas Yarn Crawl. And I just went to these two stores, the Arkadelphia and Knit Unto Others and the Malvern Arkansas Yarn Co. I didn't make it all the way up here. That was a long drive for me, especially with the toddler. I wasn't taking her to all those yarn stores. So this project is the Like a Cloud cardigan by Locatelli. And I actually don't have the pattern printed off, but I did not print off the front page because it was just a picture and I wasn't wasting paper. So let's see. Here is that. So I've knit the back panel, the two front panels, and connected it underneath for the sleeves and knit about 1 inch. And then I'm the type of person that likes to pick up for sleeves and knit the sleeves first, so I can actually make sure I have enough yarn for my sleeves, and then I can knit the body to whatever length possible, and I know I can make it as long as I want. So I've done my 2 decreases. This stitch marker is also from Arkansas Yarn Co. And I purchased this one, another state of Arkansas one. And I've probably got about 6 inches left on this sleeve, and then I will pick up the second sleeve and then finish the body. So we'll see how long that takes me. This is my nighttime knitting after my toddler goes to bed. I get to sit in bed and knit on this project while my husband does his own thing. So it all works out. The yarn is, let me pull out this side. I've only got it in cakes. The yarn is from Ruby and Rose's yarn. Let's see, I've got a tag here. Yep. So Ruby and Rose's yarn, Driftwood and Soft Rose. So her 8515 with 437 yards. This was a part of her spring collection, and she just does a gorgeous job with speckles and all that. So there's that one, and then I'm holding that together with her mohair, her Delicate Rose, in the Common Ground colorway, which is also from her spring collection, and it is just perfect purple. There we go. Look at that halo. And these are turning out very nicely together, as you can see. You can definitely see those speckles and pops of red through there. And so that is that. I actually have sample knit for Addison of Ruby and Rose's yarn a couple times. So I knit her a Like a Cloud cardigan out of her, I believe it was her for her spring collection, the Fresh Cut Flowers and her Playful colorways. And you can see that on one of her podcasts from her spring collection. And it's gorgeous. So I get to use, I loved that pattern so much I had to knit one myself in the yarn that I received for it. So those are, so I'm knitting that Like a Cloud cardigan completely to pattern. I haven't made, I think the one modification I'm making is instead of, I'm doing one less decrease on the sleeves. And I'm knitting in the smallest size. I don't remember what best size that is. So I've also got a couple of future knitting or future cast-ons that I have planned. I'm sure most people have their Instagram feeds and Ravelries hit going crazy with the Stephen West MKAL that is to start in the next couple weeks on October 8th. So I'm actually joining this one for the first time. I've knit a couple Stephen West patterns, but I have not done the mystery one. I've never done a mystery shawl pattern, so this will be something new for me. We'll see how it goes. I'm excited to be joining the thousands and thousands of knitters that are going to be doing this. So I'm holding this in a bag that my sister actually sewed for me. So she's got into sewing a little bit, so it's one of these types of bags where you just put the longer one through the shorter one. And there we go. So I think it'll be pretty good for that project. So the colors that I have picked out for this Stephen West MKAL, he suggests 5 semi-solids tonals that are contrasting. And so I actually dyed the yarn myself yesterday on September 25th. If you follow me on Instagram, you can kind of see the progressions and my decision making through the story or my Instagram stories. And I think I'll save it to highlight as well. But these are the colors that I came up with. So this Cabernet is a newer color that I had, a newer dye color that I had purchased. It's actually coming off a little lighter on camera. I've got a really big window right here that's got a lot of natural light coming in this afternoon. So, but I think it's coming across pretty well. So this was a newer dye color that I bought, and I knew I wanted this one in it, and so I had to base all the other colors I chose around this color. And then I've got just a sandy color. I think the dye color was called Sand Dune, and there's no other colors in it. It was a good neutral base to work with. And these are tonals for semi-solids, so there are some spots that are lighter and darker as dyeing happens. Dyeing yarn is very hard. Okay, the next color, let's see, this is another it's teddy bear brown. It's just another dye stock. I didn't mix any other colors with it. Just another good neutral to go along with this color palette. And so then this one is a kind of mustard. I used bright yellow from Jacquard and did like a 1% dye stock and then kind of covered it with the teddy bear brown. I think like 0.5% of dye stock for teddy bear brown. And I love how this one turned out. I had actually tested out these colors that I did on like 2 gram minis, so that way I didn't waste my good yarn. I broke down one skein, or about a partial skein, down into 2 gram minis so I could kind of test the colors and get an idea of what I wanted. Now going from 2 grams to 100 grams, obviously I can make better changes and adjustments to the 100 grams because math-wise it's a lot easier. So this one's a bit lighter than what my test 2 gram skein was, and I think it goes a lot better with this Cabernet than what it would be darker. It'll pop a little bit more. And so the last color is kind of a teal, and it's coming off pretty blue. There's actually a green tint, more of a green tint to it. Maybe back here you can see it. But this one I actually mixed up, I believe, Brilliant Blue from Jacquard Acid Dyes and Forest Green from Dharma Acid Dyes to kind of get it. I did more blue. It's probably like 60-40 percentage wise of them. And I just mixed them as a tonal. So this is, so this will be my Stephen West MKAL. I'm pretty excited to start that on October 8th. I just have to get all this yarn caked up, but that can wait. Okay. And then I've got one more future cast on that I have planned. And this one I've had planned for quite some time. It is the Salem Sweater by Tristan Molina of Dragon Hoard Yarn. I did print it in black and white so you can't see the beautiful cable details and bobbles she's got on the sleeve. It is an oversized sweater, but I think that'll be kind of my style. And so this one is knit with a fingering and a mohair. And so the fingering is something that I dyed myself again. This one's just speckles of that teddy bear brown, and I believe I even speckled some of that sand dune in here. So I'm definitely going with a more neutral color. And so this one will be held with a mohair from a Suburban Stitcher. I bought this a while back. It is a bronze oopsie skein, so I got it at a discount. But I think these two held together will turn out really good and be a good neutral color that I can wear with a lot of different things. And so that will be cast on when I'm finished with my Like a Cloud cardigan. I'm holding that in a bag that was sewn by, I believe it was Addison of Ruby and Roses yarn, and I bought it off of, I think last year for my birthday actually, because I bought this for my birthday for myself. She was selling a lot of her project bag stash that she had sewn herself, and so that's what this one is. Perfect for the fall season as it's getting cooler here in Arkansas finally. And so that's what that one is. I've also got a recent acquisition. I don't buy yarn often because I've gotten into dyeing it myself, but I do like to sample knit. I've done sample knits for 2 sample knits for Addison of Ruby and Roses yarn. I did that Like a Cloud cardigan for her spring collection, which I received the yarn for my Like a Cloud cardigan. And then I also knit for her Fascination shawl pattern, which actually has been released today on Sunday the 26th. So I did make an Instagram post of pictures of the one that I knit for her. Is a huge shawl pattern with so many different stitch patterns. It'll definitely keep you busy. So go check that out and purchase it, and love knitting it. Definitely don't knit with toddlers around though. So for that yarn, I plan on knitting for myself the Long Summer cardigan by Locatelli. I've been loving all of her patterns lately. And so I got the common ground, or no, the golden hour colorway. And I'm going to use this as my main color. So there's golden hour, and this is her soft rose 8515 merino nylon base with 437 yards. So this will be my main color for the long summer cardigan. And then I've got 4 of those, and then I got 2 of these. I actually only asked her for 1, but she sent me an extra, which I'm super thankful for. So this is her twilight colorway on that same base, the 8515, her soft rose. And I love it, it's super soft. So these 2 will be my long summer cardigan, which I will start eventually. And then I'll always have vanilla socks thrown in there. I've got a set of just sock skeins laying in my stash. So I believe that is all I have that I would like to show you today. So thank you for watching my first podcast. We'll see how editing this goes. It feels really silly talking to yourself on camera, especially when your husband's sitting in the next room, like right over there. And he heard that because he took his headphones off. Well, thanks for watching. Hopefully there will be a next one. We'll see. Bye.